Hello, and welcome to Marchborn's Tutorials. In this video, we'll walk you through the Annual Budget Template, a powerful tool to help you organize your income, expenses, and savings for the entire year. We'll be using the Google Sheets version, but everything also works seamlessly in Excel. This budget planner is available in two stunning styles, and a clean light mode and a modern dark mode, so you can choose what best suits your style. Let's dive in and explore how you can fully customize your spending plan, track transactions, and visualize your finances in real time. First things first, if you come across a message saying the spreadsheet is protected, don't worry. You can edit it, and that's okay. Just click on Cancel, and you're good to go. At the bottom of your screen is where all of our tabs are. These tabs include the README, Setup, Annual Dashboard, Monthly Budget tabs for each month of the year, Smart Calendar, Syncing Funds, Debt Calculator, and Net Worth. First, let's review README and Setup tab. In README tab is about step-by-step instructions for the template, and here is where we'll find the initial setup in Setup tab. This sheet is super flexible. It accepts all currencies. Select currency of your choice from the drop-down. I am in US, so I am selecting dollar currency. If you can't find currency in dropdown, you can go to Edit dropdown and add your currency symbol or contact us for help. We are happy to help. Then let's add the start year of the template. So we are in 2025, so let's budget 2025. Enter 2025 here. Make a copy to budget for another year. Now, let's add categories under each budget categories. Please note write in the white cells only, and do not insert or delete the row in this tab. It will crash whole template. If you wish to add more categories, please contact us or message us. Any amount of money that goes into your accounts can be considered as income. This would include your paycheck, commissions, side hustle income, dividends, interest income, bonuses, and allowances. If you've been given gifts in the form of cash or its equivalents, then you can also consider this as part of your income. Or, let's say if you're a family of two, then add person one's paycheck and person two's paycheck. Depend upon your personal preference, you can decide your income categories. Let me add some examples here. Paycheck 1, Paycheck 2, Paycheck 3, Paycheck 4, bonus, rental, interest here. You can add up to 18 income categories here. Any amount of money that reduces your accounts can be considered as an expense. However, in this template, expenses would be anything that goes out of your accounts with the exception of bills and debts. Expenses in this template would include your food, groceries, transportation, personal care, pet, travel, and social life expenses. Let's add some examples here. Groceries, fuel, public transit, insurance, medical/healthcare, dining out/takeout, entertainment, clothing and accessories, education/tuition fees, school supplies, gifts and donations, personal care, travel/vacations, household supplies, miscellaneous. You can add up to 30 expense categories. Bills, in this template, can be categorized as recurring expenses. Some examples of bills include electricity, water, gas, rent, and mobile plans. Please note, however, that in this template, credit card statements are not considered as bills. This is because credit cards are used to pay expenses which would have already been logged as a transaction. Including credit card payments as a bill would result in a double entry. Let's add some here. Rent, electricity bill, water bill, internet or Wi-Fi, mobile phone, Netflix, YouTube, Canva. You can add up to 13 bills here. Debt is anything that you owe to another. Common forms of debt include student loans, car loans, mortgages, and credit card debt. Debt should not be considered an expense. Debt was acquired because of goods or services that have been rendered in the past, so these should not be counted as expenses of the present. The credit card due amount is typically considered as debt. Let's write some examples here, such as credit card, personal loan, car loan, home loan, student loan, business loan, loan from friend. You can add up to 13 debts here. Let's move to savings category. Savings are money that is set aside for a future purpose. People usually save up for vacations, a new phone, home maintenance costs, down payments, emergency funds, real estate investments, and even retirement. Savings are likewise not considered an expense. This is because the money put into savings has not been spent. Let's add some saving categories here. Emergency fund, wedding fund, annual bills payment, vacation, festive/gift, education fund, home renovation,
car,
mobile fund, laptop fund. You can add up to 13 savings categories. An investment refers to allocation or spending of money with the expectation of generating future income or profit. Investments such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate installments. Let's add the categories under investments. Mutual funds,
SIPs, stocks,
fixed deposits, FDs, public provident fund, PPF, national pension scheme, NPS, gold/digital gold, real estate investment. You can add up to 13 investments categories. Next, let's go to monthly budget dashboard. There are 12 similar tabs for each month. The first month is set to January. First, let's review the sections of the tab, and then we'll start to plan out our budget. At the top, you'll find the month and year. This is summary section of your income and spendings, how much spend on needs, wants, and savings. Total income and expense summary. Fixed and variable expense summary. Fixed expense includes bills, debts, savings, and investments. Left to budget and left to spend summary. To the down is budget rule table, in which you can input your desired budget ratio and monitor desired ratio versus actual ratio. And to below this budget rule summary table to monitor budget versus actual spendings on needs, wants, and savings. To the right, you'll find the charts, which will populate as we begin filling out our budget. We'll be able to see this soon. Here you can see the income summary table, expenses, bills, debt, saving, and investment summary tables. Here is the financial summary table that auto-populates as we fill in our budget. It shows an overview of what you have planned to spend and earn for each category and what you actually spent and earned. This table will also contain the rollover field, however, that's entered manually for the first month. The left TO spend amount will automatically go to rollover amount in next month. Below is the transaction tracker. You'll fill in your transactions for the month here. Next to it is where my money goes most. Top to least spending category list with amount, and when my money goes, daily income and spending and balance. Below this, there is a section for monthly money goals and notes where you can write your monthly goals and monthly reflections here. Now that we've reviewed all the sections of the sheet, let's go ahead and start planning out a budget. So, let's budget for January 2025. First step is to decide the budget rule ratio, how much to allocate to needs, wants, and savings. Default ratio is 50-30-20, but you can set to any ratio you want. Let's set the ratio to 60-20-20. Let's go down and add the rollover budget and actual amount. This is the income summary table where you can monitor your monthly expected income and actual income and payday. Categories set in Setup tab will appear here automatically in all tables, so do not change the category here. If you want to change the category, go to Setup tab and change there. Write the payday for each income category. This will appear in Bill Calendar. Double-click the cell and select date from the calendar. For Excel user, please write date in DD/MM/YY format. Remember, if you do not set any date to the category, it will not appear in calendar. Let's set pay dates and budget for each categories. Paycheck 1 will receive on January 1st, and amount received will be $5,000. Paycheck 2 will receive on January 8th, and amount received will be $5,000. Paycheck 3 will receive on January 15th, and amount received will be $5,000. Paycheck 4 will receive on 22th Jan, and amount received will be $5,000. Bonus will receive on January 15th, and amount received will be $1,000. Rental income will receive on January 10th, and will receive $2,000. Interest, we do not know when it will come, so the date leave blank, and amount will be $500. Let's move to next table, which is expense summary table. Select the type from the drop-down to each expense categories and enter the budget amount in each category. Type selection of each category is different for different individuals, so feel free to set your expense type according to your preference. We'll start by assigning each category a type, needs, wants, or savings, and setting a monthly budget. Groceries are a need. We've set the budget to $3,000. Fuel or public transit is set to need. We've set the budget to at $1,000. Insurance is a want, with a monthly budget of $800. Medical or healthcare is a need, and we're allocating $1,200. Dining out or takeout falls under wants, with a budget of $750. Entertainment, a want, is set at $500. Clothing and accessories are wants, with a budget of $600. Education or tuition fees is needs, with a budget of $2,500. School supplies as a want, and we've set a budget of $400. Gifts and donations fall as wants, budgeted at $350. Personal care is a want, with $500 set aside. Travel and vacations as wants, with a monthly allocation of $1,500. Household supplies are a need, with a budget of $700. Finally, miscellaneous items go under wants, with a flexible budget of $300. Next is bill summary table. In this table, enter the due date, select type from the drop-down, and enter the budget amount for each bill. And check the box when paid the bills. You can check it here, and check the bills on Smart Calendar also. Let's add the due dates of bills. Rent is due on January 1st. It's classified as a need, and the budget is set to $1,000. Electricity bill is due on January 10th, also a need, with a budget of $500. Water bill shares the same due date, January 10th, and is a need, with $300 allocated. Internet or Wi-Fi is due on January 9th, type as a want, and the budget is $200. Mobile phone is due on January 16th, marked as a want, with $200 budgeted. Netflix is due on January 24th, a want, with a budget of $100. YouTube is due on January 20th, also a want, with $100 assigned. Canva is due on January 23rd and categorized it as a need, with a monthly budget of $100. Next is debt summary. Same steps to follow as bill's summary table. Enter the due date for debt payment, type of debt, and budget for the debt. Credit card payment is due on January 3rd, type as want, and budget is $200. Personal loan repayment is due on January 4th, type as want, and budget is $400. Car loan repayment is due on January 5th, categorized as a want, and budget is $500. Home loan repayment is due on January 9th, categorized as a need, and budget is $800. Student loan repayment is due on January 12th, categorized as a need, and budget is $100. Business loan repayment is due on January 14th, categorized as a want, and budget is $100. Finally, loan from a friend is due on January 16th, categorized as a want, and budget is $100. Now, let's go over your monthly savings allocations. Each of these entries is marked as savings. Emergency fund, with a monthly contribution of $200. Wedding fund, set aside $300. Annual bill payment, budgeted at $100. This helps cover lump sum yearly expenses. Vacation, save $200 each month. Festive and gift fund, set at $200. Education fund, allocated $200 to support learning and future studies. Home renovation, budgeted at $200. Car fund, a larger allocation of $500. Mobile fund, with $100 set aside, you'll be ready for your next upgrade. Laptop fund, also set at $100, saving gradually for new tech or a replacement. Now, let's review your investment savings allocations, all categorized under savings. Mutual funds, you're investing $400 per month. SIPs, systematic investment plans, a disciplined approach with $200 set aside monthly. Stocks, $200 for potential growth. Fixed deposits, FDs, with a monthly deposit of $200. Public Provident Fund, PPF, contributing $200. National Pension Scheme, NPS, with $200 monthly. Gold or digital gold, investing $200. Real estate investment at $200 per month. Now that we've added income and planned out a few expenses, let's head down to the transaction tracker. This transaction tracker is connected to actual figures in all table and charts. Enter all your January month's transactions here. Let me add some example transactions here. First, enter the date of the transaction. To enter the date, either write in mm/dd/YYYY or double-click the cell and select say on January 1st, 2025, then select amount of transaction, let's say received $1,500. Select the category from the drop-down as income. Select the budget name paycheck number 1 from the drop-down. Enter the notes, if any. Let's add another entry, this time for grocery. Enter the date of the purchase January 2nd, 2025. The amount will say $300, category as expense, and budget name select grocery from the drop-down and write notes bought milk, bread, and egg. Another transaction entry is phone bill. Select the date January 3rd, 2025. The amount is $150. Select bill category from the drop-down. Select budget name as phone bill and enter the notes if any. This way you can record your daily transactions here. Remember to record only the transactions relevant to the current month's budgeting period. Now that we have some data, let's review our dashboards. Scrolling up, you'll see budget rule summary chart showing budget versus actual amounts in need, wants, and savings. Next to it is actual budget rule ratio. Actual spending ration under each category, compare with you planned ratio and analyze it. Besides, it has variable expense chart showing most spending expense category. Below is financial summary chart where you can budget versus actual under each budget category. Next is spending breakdown chart shows % of you have spend on each category. Next is balance overview chart, which is your daily income minus spending equals daily balance. Next is income breakdown chart is % of income received on each income category. Now let's scroll down and see where and when I spend my money most. This table shows you top to least expenses. And above is the breakdown showing % of each expense. The next table is daily income and spending table. This is where you can track when did I spend the money most. This chart is showing spending pattern of the month. This concludes our review of the monthly budget tab. If you have any questions, please send us a message. Happy budgeting! In the next section, we will be reviewing the Smart Calendar tab. This calendar displays bills, income, and debts payments as inputted into the Monthly Budget tab. Select the month for which you want to track bills and debts. Besides this, there is option to select the start day preference, either Sunday or Monday. This section is Money Goals section where you can record your goals, and below it To-Do section to record to-dos for the month. To the right is Calendar, which is fully automated. So, do not edit, add, delete in this section, only check the box when bills and debts are paid or income is received. If you would like to print the bill calendar, select the print icon from the above toolbar, or you can select the K9 to X59 and press the print button. It will lead to the print setting page. Select Fit to Page and choose Landscape and press Next to print or save as PDF. If you're using Excel, this will say Current Selection. Change page orientation to Landscape. Change the scale to Fit to Page. Here is little tip to print is press Ctrl+P key. This concludes our review of the bill calendar. Next, we will review Sinking Fund Dashboard. This tab is used to track various savings goals. To the left, this is the summary of your total savings goal, total saved, total left to save, total monthly goal, and overall progress. The Sinking Fund Summary table is where you will input goal amount, monthly balance, and start amount for each saving goal. Let's add the goal amount for each goal, which is how much it is going to cost or we are planning to save. For example, we are planning to save emergency fund with a target of $100,000. Wedding fund set at $50,000. Annual bill payments with a goal of $2,000. Vacation fund is set at $5,000. Festive and gift fund is ready with $2,000. Education fund with a $10,000 goal. Home renovation fund set at $3,000. You've set aside $1,000 in your car fund. Mobile fund is at $800. Laptop fund at $1,000. Then enter the planned monthly savings goal. In this case, $3,000 each month for your emergency fund. Wedding fund grows by $5,000. $200 for annual bill payments. $100 each month in your vacation fund. $200 monthly in your gift fund. Education fund gets a boost of $800 every month. $300 a month for home renovation. Car fund grows by $200 monthly. $80 a month for your mobile fund, $100 every month for your laptop fund. If you have any money to get started, we'll add it in the starting amount field. If you don't have any money to start, that's okay too. Just enter 0 in that field. You've already built a strong foundation with $50,000 in wedding fund started at $4,000. Annual bill payments, you've saved $100 so far. Vacation fund began with $1,000. Festive and gift fund already holds $400. $1,000 in your education fund. Home renovation, you're starting with $300. Car fund currently stands at $100. $80 in your mobile fund. Laptop fund begins with $100. The rest of the columns begin to populate, showing the amount you have left to save, how many months it will take to save up, as well as the date you will reach your savings goal. This is Saving Contribution Tracker, where you can track your savings transactions here. Record all your savings transactions here. For example, on January 1st, 2024, you have saved $100 for car. This will add in saved column automatically, and you can see progress is increased for car fund. This concludes the Sinking Funds tab review. If you have any questions, please send us a message. Here we will be reviewing the debt calculator. In this tab, you'll be able to see all your debts, debt payments, and debt-free date. The first thing that you will want to do is to enter the date you started paying your first debt. So let's put 2022 and select the month, let's say November. Then you will have to choose the repayment method right here. You have the choice between the avalanche strategy, the snowball method, and the custom method. In the avalanche method, you prioritize the debts based on their interest rate. You pay all the minimum payment for all your debts, but you allocate all extra money to the debt with the highest interest rate. This method helps you minimize the total interest paid over time. Then the snowball strategy method focuses on paying debts with the lowest balance first, then progressing to the largest one. Once a debt is paid off, the freed up money goes toward paying another debt, hence creating a snowball effect. If you want to customize which debts you want to pay first, you can choose the custom option and the debt will be treated and analyzed in the order you wrote them in the table below. So, let's click on Snowball. You can add extra cash you have freed up that you would like to put toward paying your debts, but of course it's optional only. For an example here, I will write $50. Finally, you need to list all your debts. You can track up to 40 different debts. If you choose the avalanche or snowball strategies, you do not need to bother with the order you write them since they will reorganize based on your chosen strategy. However, if you choose the custom method, you have to write them in the order you plan to pay for them. So the first thing that you want to do is enter the debt name, the initial balance, the interest rate, and minimum payment. Let me add some of the examples here. In debt name, I am writing credit card hashtag. Initial balance is $1,000. Interest rate is 15%. Min payment is $100. Credit card number 2. Initial balance is $600. Interest rate is 13% and min payment is $50. Student loan initial balance is $500. Interest rate is 10% and min payment is $50. Personal loan initial balance is $800. Interest rate is 17% and min payment is $80. Car loan initial balance is $10,000. Interest rate is 10% and min payment is $100. Below this is a table for sorted debt summary table, which will sort your debt by strategy selected. So here I have selected debt snowball, which is pay off debts from smallest to largest balance. So here debts are arranged from smallest to largest. Here you can see your current debt load, your total monthly payments, and your target debt-free date based on your inputs. Here is the overall debt balance summary, and next to it are the corresponding graphs that break down each debt. Let's put extra monthly payment of $200. Notice how the debt-free dates begin to change. If you need to adjust this number, use the debt balance summary table. For example, say in November you only had $150 instead of the planned $200. In the adjustment field, type -$50, indicating that we are short $50. The fields will adjust accordingly. In December, we have $400 for our extra monthly payment instead of the planned $200. We would put $200 in the adjustment field, indicating that we are up $200. Continue to use this tool and knock out those debts. This concludes the Debt Calculator tab. Next, we will review the Net Worth tab. The Net Worth tab gives a complete overview of your net worth month over month. You will see charts here showing net worth and trend, assets versus liabilities, and assets or liability distribution. Select from the drop-down which chart you want to see, assets distribution or liability distribution. You can track your budget year's net worth. Here we are tracking 2025's net worth. To start tracking your net worth, enter your current net worth in the Start field. At the end of each month, enter in your updated net worth value. Let's see an example already filled in. JP Morgan Chase and Company, Goldman Sachs,
Morgan Stanley,
Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Home Safe, cash holdings for bank and cash section, stocks,
bonds,
mutual funds, exchange, traded funds for investments, real estate, resident for properties, and cryptocurrencies for our other assets. Next, start with filling Start column for each of the assets. Let's move down to liabilities and see in our short-term debt, credit cards, short-term loans, and for long-term debt, mortgages, car loan, student loans, and for other liabilities, personal loan. Next, start with filling Start column for each of the liabilities. At the end of each month, fill in the end balance of each assets and liabilities. As the year progresses, you will continue to fill in your values at the end of the month. The asset and liability distribution chart will represent the latest month's entered details. The net worth and asset versus liability chart will show the yearly overview. This concludes the net worth review. Now, let's go to the Annual Dashboard tab, designed to give you a comprehensive annual overview and performance summary of your finances. This tab is fully automated. All annual calculations are done automatically. Gain clarity with easy-to-read overview tables that display your total income, total expenses, savings, investments, and debt, all in one place. Right at the top, you'll see the summary bar. This gives you a quick snapshot of your financial breakdown. It shows how much you've spent on needs, wants, and savings, along with your total expenses and total spending for the year. You'll also find a clear split between fixed and variable expenses. Below that, you'll see a range of graphs and charts that visualize your financial activity, from pie charts showing spending distribution to bar charts tracking trends over time. On the left side, there's a detailed overview table, giving you a complete summary of your income, expenses, savings, debt, and investments, all aligned with helpful financial ratios based on budgeting rules. Further down, we dive into the budget versus actual section. Here, you can compare your planned budget with what you actually spent, category by category. Continuing from the dashboard, now we dive into the annual summary section. At the top, you'll see a comprehensive month-by-month summary of your total income and spending. This high-level view helps you track how your finances flow throughout the year. Just below that is the category summary, a detailed monthly breakdown of every budget category, so you can see exactly where your money went and when. On the right, we've added a trendline visual, perfect for spotting progress and identifying patterns in your financial habits over time. So that's it. I hope this tutorial helps you easily set up your spreadsheet. Do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. Follow Marchborns on Etsy and YouTube for sneak peeks and new templates. Thank you.